There you are. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Before we start the video, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the head honcho over at Dead Sled Brand, Robert Nixon. Everyone knows him as Nix, but he is the awesome artist who designed the new channel logo and the title cards for the channel. He's been really helping me out trying to get this channel looking, a little bit more professional. Yeah, I know, we're not very professional, are we? But his art is what you see here. Also, I'm going to discuss a couple upcoming events, mainly just Hearse Mania. But Nix is also the guy who designed some of the art for the other upcoming shows that I'm really hoping the Deadwood makes it to this year. So just wanted to give a huge shout out to Dead Sled Brand, Robert Nixon. Peep the hat. Go get you one. Thanks, man. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Deadwood Garage. Thank you so much for tuning in. Not a very exciting video, unfortunately, today. This is more of kind of an update video, kind of a update of where the car's at, where I'm at. I was looking at my whiteboard and realized that, man, there wasn't much left on it. I was like, oh, I'm getting close. And I realized I didn't have a lot of stuff wrote on it. I missed a lot of little steps, or some things were very generalized. So I went through and kind of redid it. Ignore this side for right now. That's more of the bodywork stuff. This and this is where I need to be to take it for a drive. I can live without doing a lot of this bodywork. Some of that stuff isn't, well, you know what? Sorry, I'm getting a little squirrel hit me here. We can get rid of that and get rid of that. Like I said, this and this is where we need to be to drive the car. So kind of gave myself an updated list of stuff I need. Still gotta get the floor shifter. That number is actually like about $580 for the floor shifter. You know, front shocks are $100. Need to go up and see Illusive Design and Fabrication. They are here in Northern Ohio. Brian's an awesome dude to deal with. Going up and getting another 485 dual pack. So I got 4 of those compressors. I am updating to the SS7 front bags and the front shock relocating kit. I don't know if you guys can see that really well. Let's try something. It's a little better, right? But yeah, front shock kit, bags, compressors, about $750 somewhere in there. Out of Illusive, saves me a lot on shipping, so I can just cruise up there and grab them. As far as the to-do list, flooring. I gotta weld the rockers back together. The way the rocker and floor pan is designed on this car, the rocker kind of comes around, comes up like this. The floor pan comes over and meets into the rocker and kind of goes up the side of the car a little bit and gets pinched right there. That's where your little pinch weld that your door seal crimps down on. So the floor pan comes up like this, the rocker comes around and kind of swoops back into that, and you know, in some places it actually goes across as a bit of a sandwich brace. When we cut the floor out, right about where the rocker started to curve back and the floor met it right here, that's where I cut. Because everything else was just rotted out. So I have to take what the little bit of that's remaining of the floor pan and the inside of that rocker, bring them back together and weld them together. Give a little bit more structure to the rockers, a little more rigidity, the best I can anyway. And then from that point, attach my 1x1 to that. and start building the floor braces for where my seats are going to go. Like in the back where people are kind of crawl in, where a lot of weight would be, I do want to put a couple 1x1 floor braces under that, just to help support the weight of 1 or 2, 3 people, because it could be my kids, it could be my friends, who knows who's going in the back of this thing. I want to make sure it's stable. Plus, that gives me a good framework to be able to mount the seatbelt points, the bolt down points for the rear seat belts. I am putting lap and shoulder belts in the back of this car, and going as far as even to putting 2 little hooks for a child seat. My son is about to turn 1. He's still in a car seat. I don't want to exclude him from the fun. So anything and everything I can do to make this car as safe and secure as possible for my kids and my friends, I'm going to do. I know a lot of people are kind of against putting back seats in a hearse. A lot of it is, oh, they're not designed for, side impact. They're not going to, things like that. You're right. This being a full frame car, and as much work as I've done to the frame, is definitely going to help increase the side protection of it. And I am going to go in like in the door and in the back area. There will be some extra bracing in there just to help it out. Anything I can do to make this car stiffer, keep it from flexing, keep the bodywork in good shape, and make it a little more resilient to side impact, I'm going to do. I want it safe. So we get the 1x1 floor bracing down. At that point, I want to put some heat shields in. I've got some, I think it's stainless or aluminum, I can't remember, but it's that waffle pattern heat shield material. I want to do that over some key points in the exhaust, like up by where my feet are. In the rear, by where the airbags are, I want to heat shield the airbags a little bit, just try to keep some of the exhaust heat off. Having the 1x1 floor structure, that'll give me somewhere I can rivet that those heat shields in, and they're not going to fall off. Then I got to drop a shifter in, get that installed, find out where its home is going to be, and then I can start bead rolling and putting my floor pans in, wheel tubs. I got my batteries, 2 Group 31 AGM batteries from Crown. They were so kind as to hook me up with a pair of those. So they're local here in Fremont. Excellent people to deal with. They got 2 of those. She's sitting right there. So I get the battery trays for those heavy things back there, and where they're going to be bolted down and not going anywhere. At that point, I can go ahead and get the air tank and compressor mounts fabricated, get the batteries installed, the air management installed, and then at that point, I can get my partition wall put in. Once I know kind of where my front seats are going to be, I'll know right where I put my partition wall and get the wall put up. The wall will be its own little thing. Most coaches, funeral cars, they have a half wall and then the top half, or a large window going across, usually with a piece of sliding glass or something to help a little bit airflow in the back. I'm not doing that. It's going to be a full solid wall, and then I'm going to cut out a large oval opening and put a piece of probably plexiglass with one-way mirror tint on it, and put it on just a window actuator, like a window lift motor like you'd have in the door of the car. More like a limo partition, where I could hit a button, the glass will roll down, I could see out, people could see in, but then I could roll it up, and from the back, if you're in the back seat looking forward, all you're going to see is a mirror. I got various router bits. I want to make something as close to Victorian-ish as I can, of a frame, so that way when the glass is up, it looks like a really cool goth mirror. Then maybe some lights and stuff on the sides, just to kind of spookify it a little bit more. So partition wall like that's for 2 reasons. One, I want to put some rigidity in the car. One of the previous owners had cut a couple of the roof ribs out. I'm assuming for the car stereo system that they tried shoving in the back of this. Not sure. But yeah, there's some ribs are missing from the roof, stuff like that. So building off of the 1x1 framework on the floor, running 1x1 straight up to the roof, welding it to a pad, like an 1/8 inch thick pad, like maybe about that big, that conforms to the roof. And then I will glass that pad to the roof. And that's going to help just tie everything in much more solid. And then on the note of the roof is fixing this roof. This thing's a mess. This thing's bad. I knew it was bad. I didn't know how bad, but I knew it was bad. Yeah, it's bad. So looking at it from this side, you can see I'm not the first one to try to repair it. I did try to smooth it out the best I could. And you can actually, it's already, my repair is already starting to fail, which I expected it to. But this was packed with expanding foam. Now, let's see, there we go. Yeah. Now I had expanding foam in there when I got it. I put a lot more expanding foam in there just to help it out. And then after I cut the expanding foam off the top, I smoothed it all out with some Duraglass real quick. And then covered all of that with vinyl. This is just your adhesive back vinyl. And then I used this is like a T-channel that fit down in there. And that's what adhered to the windshield. This, appearance-wise, worked. It didn't look bad at all. This vinyl, I found out real quick, was not rated to be outside. As you can see, it's just falling apart. I think it might have been some leftover stuff from my Cricut. But the bigger concern is this side's not as bad, but you can see just how rotted this is right here. This is just completely and totally rotted out. This is the fiberglass top. This is the steel. I shouldn't be able to see that spray foam. I can actually stick my finger in there. This should be steel. This right here, this lip should continue all the way across here. It's gone. There's nothing behind this but spray foam right now. It goes all the way back to here. Another thing I did to kind of help secure the roof for a period of time is this is a rash guard for a boat. You would normally on the side of a boat, like if your cleat was right here, you had your rope come down and this would be like the crest of the boat right here. You would have this rash guard, this stainless rash guard on there to keep the rope from rubbing into the fiberglass. That is a couple screws down through there. And then it was, as you can see, it was screwed into the sheet, what was left of the sheet metal up here. Because going down the road, the roof actually tried to lift up on me. Yeah, not good. And coming over here, you see the same thing, but you can see, like I said, that vinyl just didn't hold up. But this is where things get really ugly. So if you're a little squeamish, look away. As you can see, there's no metal here. This is just it's all foam. You can see where I sprayed the foam in from the inside, and you can see where it was just coming out. And you just, yeah. This whole top of the car right here is gone. It's rotted. And if I can jab my screwdriver, that's supposed to be steel right there. Yep, nope. No steel. Oh, that's actually a little harder right there, but yeah, there you go. Right through there. It's all gone. So, the solution. So, the solution for this, in theory, sounds really simple. In practice, yeah, it's gonna be a little more entertaining. Long story short, what we're going to have to do is come in through here and gouge out the Duraglass and spray foam that's up here all the way across, trying to retain the factory fiberglass line. This right here, this line right here is where the original top is, and then this is just my fill. Gouge all that out. We're going to have to remove the windshield. Now my windshield already has a pretty good sized rock chip in it, so I'm not too concerned with removing this windshield. But as you can see, lucky, I guess you could say, enough to have a OE windshield. This is a factory Cadillac, Fleetwood, Chevy Impala, Buick Roadmaster, you name it, this same windshield. Any windshield repair shop either has them or can get them pretty quick. If this was a commercial glass car, obviously this windshield would be straight across and probably at least right about here, roughly. I think they come to right about here and straight across. Those are a little harder to get a hold of. Now these years, they are out there, but if you have something back from like the 60s, late 50s into the 60s, even in the 70s, some of those commercial glass pieces are absolutely impossible to get a hold of. So the repair I'm going to do on this car is something that could potentially be done to even a commercial glass car. So if you have commercial glass, this could be an option for you, but it's going to take you back to OE glass. That's the only downside. And I love commercial glass cars. I think they just look neat, have that tall windshield up front. They look really cool. But if I have a choice between looking really cool but having a wet lap, or looking like this with a stock OE windshield and having a dry interior that doesn't leak, I'm not worried about my top peeling off, stuff like that, I'm gonna go with the OE glass. So we're gonna have this glass pulled out. I'm gonna try to remove it myself. I don't want to break it. So I'll just come in through here, cut the glue out, get it out of here. I don't want to break it because it's just messy. I'm not gonna keep this one though. And then go to the junkyard. I have a lead on a couple B bodies, and I believe one D body I might have a chance at getting a hold of. And I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna take the windshield out of those, get it out of my way, and then cut right about here on the A pillar, as low as I can get away with. Then come back, cut about halfway on the B pillar, and probably at least almost to the back where the C pillar is. Cut the roof off, cut, and take the entire roof panel off of that car. Then come in here, we'll cut somewhere in here quickly to get it out of my way. Obviously taking a bunch of measurements as we go. And we'll go ahead and cut all of the rotted steel out of the top of this frame. Then trim the car and the new repair panel to match, get it slid in underneath the fiberglass, and weld it back in. The good news is body work will be minimal because the welds will all be hidden behind the doors. Now I'm going to make the body work look good just because it's what I want to do. But if you're not much of a body man and you want to attempt this, if you can get your hands on a 110 welder and a Sawzall, I think it's really about all you're really truly going to need to do this. I do this and it comes out great. I'll be more than happy, more than welcome to have other people who need this done. More than happy to give it a shot on your car too. But like I said, the fact that, that weld's going to be hidden. This weld will be a little bit more visible, but it'll still be hidden behind a door. But it's small areas. It should be really easy to body work back in. Then once that steel's in, we'll come back up here and Duraglass down to the line, smoothing all this back in. Maybe even wrapping 1 or 2 layers of fiberglass to button this up here, smooth it all out. And then it'll be just calling Safe Light or your local glass repair shop. Might have to fib to them a little bit and just say, oh, it's a 94 Cadillac Fleetwood. Don't mention the fact that it's a creepy station wagon. Some people get really weirded out about hearses. And also, well, I shouldn't say it like that because if somebody's creeped out by a hearse, I really don't want them working on my coach. But some companies have liability or whatever, they don't want to do commercial work. They won't service this, So do what you will, what you have to do to get somebody to come out and put a windshield back in and then we should be all sealed up and dry for the rest of the year. Hopefully the rest of the car's life, but this has got to happen before it goes back on the road. This absolutely has to happen. I am tired of the water leak. I'm tired of the appearance. And before I do anything further on the body, this has got to be fixed. So, yeah, but that's how I plan on doing it. And then I'll get the vinyl cutter back out and put my giant Ghoul Gang sticker back on the front. Got her help, rep Lily the Lincoln. So yeah, there's just kind of a general update of where the hearse is at right now, what all needs to be done, and I want to have it presentable. Maybe not painted, but the back bumper, the wheel skirts, primer maybe, blacktop and primer. I want to have that done by June 13th. That's Hearse Mania at Lima, Ohio. Actually going to where she was turned into a coach at, the S&S Coach Factory. So that's my first big goal, June 13th. So I want this thing drivable by the 1st of June. That way it gives me a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, to work the bugs out of it, get all the kinks worked out, get some miles on it so I could trust it, because Lima is, what was that, about 2 hours, I think? I think it's about 2 hours, if I remember right. It's actually where I bought the car at. The previous owners of this car lived in Lima at the time. And that's where, ironically, that's where I went and bought the car from. And I drove it home from their house on 7 cylinders. Yeah. 7 cylinders and a leaky passenger side wheel cylinder. So I only had 3 wheels that were braking and 7 cylinders that were making me go forward. But yeah, 1st of June, get it on the road, get it driving, get some miles on it. And then June 13th, Hearse Mania. I'm going to throw up a couple dates of upcoming shows that I want this car to go to. If you're interested, come on out. It's always fun. The Haunted Garage Sale towards the end of the year is an absolute riot. Lots of hearse, lots of coaches, and a lot of vendors. That was actually the first time I took the car anywhere, was the Haunted Garage Sale. That's the only dash plaque I have for her right now. So this year I plan on collecting a lot more. But yeah, so I'm rambling on. I apologize. Thanks for checking this out. Hopefully the next video will be welding and bead rolling some floor pans out. So stay tuned.